Hello, friends and neighbors. This is Jeff coming to you from the Rio Grande Valley. And today we're going to talk about Eve's justification. Genesis chapter 3, in the beginning part of verse 6, tells us this. It says, "So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate." So, what's going on here? Our minds can be our best friend, where we get all of our thoughts, the good and the bad. Our minds also work to protect our bodies, emotional states, and mental health. In our mind's quest to keep us mentally level, it will try to justify our actions so we do not think we are as bad as what we might be in reality. We do not like making the worst part of our lives known. Well, at least we didn't before social media became a thing. If we must share something from our dark pasts, we begin the story with some reason, such as I was young, I was stupid, I was under the influence, I was mad, I was happy, I was depressed, or I was celebrating. We do this so that at the end of the story, we can say something along the lines of, well, I don't do that anymore. We justify so we do not look bad to ourselves first and then to other people. We also justify so we can make peace with our decisions. So why did Satan tempt Eve with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Well, it was because Eve really wanted the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. How often are we tempted with something we do not want or do not want to do? Oh God, I pray that I'm not tempted to stand in line at the post office, go get my driver's license renewed, sign up for jury duty, or pay my taxes. Yeah, right. How often does this happen in which we're tempted with something we don't want? No, that's not the way it works. She wanted the fruit, but just because she might have wanted it does not mean she would have gone for it if Satan had not helped her out. Because after all, we're surrounded by temptations. Doesn't mean that we're going to go for it. But here's her problem. Satan is suggesting she takes something she is not supposed to have in the first place. She would be on purpose disobeying God if she took the fruit. At this point, her mind starts working against her own good sense because at this point, her mind has already been made up. She's going to take the fruit. It's going to happen. The issue now is to justify the behavior so that the action makes sense to herself first, because she is calling the shots here. Then it needs to make sense to Adam. Then it needs to make sense to God. So here's how she justifies her impending decisions of doom. The tree was good for food. Hey, Eve needs to eat. It was delightful to the eyes. It looks a whole lot better than those Brussels sprouts over there. Now, finally, the truth. It was desired to make one wise. Eve wants to be more than what God made her. Some might say that Eve wanted to be God. With these justifications, Eve fell to sin. The justifications turned into lies that Eve would tell herself to think she can have both God and sin on her terms. The problem with that bargain is that it never works out. Another popular line that is used is, "It seemed like a good idea at the time." This one is said after the unwise deed is completed. Usually it is said in the jail cell, hospital room, principal's office, or at home when we have been grounded or punished by our parents. This line is said when we get hit upside the head with the fact of our ability to justify our bad decisions and behaviors miserably failed. The problem with justification is that it is the mental search for permission. The justification we land on could be the most wafer thin line of idiotic reasoning in creation, but if it makes sense to us, for those few seconds we need to make the foolish, sinful decision, then we have what we need. How do we stay away from sin and temptation? Be aware that the devil is trying to plant suggestions so we can step back and watch us trip over ourselves, trying to justify the longing and the behavior. We cannot justify sin. We need to stop trying to justify our sin. Grace and peace to you all. We'll see you next time.